Hello and welcome to the segment of the compensation and benefits HR function on the Human Resource in Practice program. I hope you are enjoying the session so far. So now we are taking up the concluding part of the compensation and benefits program. And today we'll be looking at the types of employee benefits. The types of employee benefit we had defined earlier on. We had defined compensation, the meaning of compensation and benefit, the differences, how it applies, the importance, and how it applies to the workspace. So, as human resource practitioners, aspiring administrators, and operations executives, it is important for us to, have an idea, not just an idea, at least have the knowledge required to hit the ground running the moment you get to take up this career journey in human resource management. Okay. So now we have already differentiated compensation and benefits. We'll be looking at the types of benefits, the types of benefits. So there are different types of employee benefit that is aimed to improving the lives of members of staff in your organization, and are different ways. So what motivates one person might not necessarily be same with another. However, an organization is required to have one or two, or if not all of these, types of benefit to encourage our employees so they can perform optimally on the job. So some of these benefits are mandatory, legally required, but depending on your region, they are different. In Nigeria, we have key benefits that you as an employer or you as an HR practitioner must have an understanding of. Okay, so that you will be able to impute this or encourage this to be inculcated in the organization. Some benefits are legally required, while some others are, at the discretion of the employer, at the discretion of the employer. So we have the legally required benefits, we have the discretionary, benefits. Such example of the legally required benefits, we have workers compensation insurance depending on the industry. So we have some organizations, especially maybe manufacturing and production, where you have health and safety insurance cover, we have life group insurance cover, there's some other compensation insurance cover that is necessary. Okay, NHIS also, in some climes in Nigeria, you have NHIS, you have HMO. As long as it requires, health insurance, it is important and is mandatory that this is covered. Now, there are different ways by which NHIS or HMO is done. We have some calculations that are done in the sense that the employer is fully 100% responsible for providing NHIS cover, HMO cover. In some organization, it's a 50-50 or 25-75 sharing ratio, where the employee takes in the lower amount, like 25%, and the organization takes in the 75% insurance cover, the share of the cover. In some cases, some organizations share it at 50-50, where the employee is responsible for taking 50% of the cover and the employer takes in 50% of the cover. All right, but it is not necessarily required that the employees take in all of it. I've not seen it anywhere, and it's not regulatory, at least as of the time I'm speaking. It's not regulatory in the sense that the employee takes over 100% of their insurance cover. The employer is should be responsible for the health insurance cover, either as a higher percentage, as equal ratio sharing, but it's something that must be done. All right, so this is mandatory. Such other benefits that are mandatory are the pensions. Okay, pensions cover is also mandatory. There are others that are not mandatory, that are quite at the discretion of the company. We have such as flexible working hours. Some people do hybrid, some people do remote work, especially after post COVID. I mean, post COVID incidents. We have hybrid, we have remote, we have fully on site, but people close early. All right, they might resume early, but they close early depending on their arrangement. Some organizations cover examples like mental health benefits. Okay, mental health benefits, counseling sessions open to employees, It's also at the discretion of the organization. It's not compulsory. Then we have tuition assistance. Some organization provide financial support for educational programs, for formal educational programs, corporate learnings, training and development. Some of other organizations also provide gym services, that's fitness services for their employees. So there are a lot. However, key that must happen is that pensions and NHIS are key in providing. Some organizations even provide at discretion. Some organizations provide accommodation for their employees. So it depends on the budget of the company and the need, as the case may be. Now, so benefits at work, we have flexible working hours. This means that the employees have control over their schedule. It might not be 100% control, but at least they have some time of leverage or flexibility in their working hours. And it has come to our notice by statistics as people who have such flexible hours now do more. Now, let me give you an example. There was a time when Lighthouse HR company adopted the remote hybrid work model. And then what we did was that we had to do a measurement. We had to do an analysis of how effective introducing the remote and hybrid work operations versus the when we were fully on site, as regards to the staff performance. And we found out that every time the staffs were in office, we had time, the little time or the short period of time, 3 days or 2 days they had in office, they made sure they put in all they put it all in, ensuring that the task was done. Okay. Bearing in mind that when they were off-site and they were working remotely, every other thing that required to be done remotely was follow up, touch base with this person, touch base with this person, do a lot of online activities, okay, versus face-to-face activity. And we find out that they were doing a lot more. All right. So now, compared to where we had to come all the way to the office, so you notice that it's not that they were not performing optimally. However, we noticed that sometimes they had to take their time to do the job, which is not, in quotes, allowed. Do you understand? However, we just understood that commuting to work sometimes could be tiring, where we noticed that a lot of our staffs were coming from a distance. And so by the time they came back to the office, by the time they arrived in the morning and logged in and they were on their desk taking up their activities and all that, you could see that these people were committing to work was really weighing down on them. Although they were performing on their duty, they were hitting their target, doing all the required task. However, having to sit, relaxed on the job, having fun doing what you're doing, not thinking of, oh, how many cabs will I need to, how many buses will I need to jump, how many cabs will I need to take or bikes will I need to take before I get to my house, and all that. Now, there are some other organizations that we also have done an analysis on, to understand what impacts directly or indirectly on the performance of their staff. And we find out that having, flexible working hours was was giving, you know, job satisfaction to these employees, okay? Because somehow they were able to balance life and work. So work-life balance was topmost for them as key benefits in enjoying the workplace. So paid time off is also an example of benefits that employees will benefit from, will engage from, and employers are encouraged to carry on. Paid time off like annual leaves. These are cases where salaried employees that earn salaries are still paid when they are on leave. So we have like annual leaves, we have like sick leaves, okay. Annual leaves could also serve as vacation leaves. All right. So these are leaves where we go off for a time, to just rest, take out time, 2 weeks, 15 days, 14 days, 10 days, some people 30 days, depending on the cadre of the employees. So people who have these annual leaves or sick leave or casual leave or compassionate leave. So we have leaves like compassionate leaves where maybe employees lost a loved one. Okay, I need to, go mourn for a while, comfort their loved ones, attend the burial and all that. or compassionate leave, I need to attend to my kids in the hospital, they need support in their school, and all that. We have maternity leave, parental leave, paternity leave also. So these leaves are paid time off that some employers give to their employees. Okay, now we have the regular leave. There are types of leave where you have, I mentioned it already, compassionate leave, bereavement leave. They have study leaves also. Okay. There are cases where some organizations will offer you, when the weather, for example, if there's a block, there's a flood somewhere, and you tell your employees, you don't need to come over, stay up and work from home. And if we are not able to work from home that particular day or those few days until things like that have been cleared up, and then are given to the employees, and then the employees return to the office. When such cases, there are cases where we have heard where the bridge is either a broken bridge, or it was blocked, or there was traffic, or in cases like sometimes in Nigeria in the past where we had heavy fuel scarcity, where it was difficult, to commute to work. So some employees were given time, to work from home, and then, or just stay at home. The following day or a few days later, you come over and, complete your tasks, especially tasks that are not urgent, although important, but are not urgent in terms of delivery. Now, another benefit is skills development. Okay, skills development, which is critical. So where employers can offer a form of funding, extra sum here and there to help with tuition or student loans. Okay, they offer educational fund, training and development. You have this budget for online courses, to attend workshops, certification programs. Employers can give you both that time off, and they still pay you for salaries for it, or they pay you salaries for it as well as fund completely or partly most development, skills development program or educational funding that I'm aware of is usually at a portion, not necessarily 100%. In cases where it is 100% loan, the employee will be required to pay back at a convenient spread. All right. Now, there are cases also where we have food and beverage. All right. These are voluntary benefits, it's not compulsory. Some organizations can offer food and beverage. So, in your case, if we call on you and say, okay, do you have ideas on how we can help our employees do better, make them comfortable at work, you can suggest where we have optional breakfast, optional lunch, okay, or optional brunch, okay, late breakfast, early lunch. Okay, so you can have such suggestions, but it is voluntary, it is not compulsory. We have companies who have snack rooms, who have kitchenettes, who have coffee room, take up during break time. The employees can access these small food, finger foods, subsidized meals. Vouchers are given to employees also to eat maybe at the in-house restaurant, or a particular meal arrangement is made with an eatery or restaurant where the employee go there to eat, and then a voucher or subsidized meal rate are given to that particular employee as the presentation of either their IDs or their voucher, or a stamp document or something. Or there are cases where the organization or the company has already made arrangements for such programs. All you have to do is just walk in and enjoy such healthy snacks, food, and then maybe water and all that. Okay. So there are other alternative or discretionary benefits such as gift and activities. I'm celebrating your birthday, we give you something. We have team bonding experiences. We go out on events, evening out. And, we have days like company swag. Rather than come to the office on like a thank God, TGIF, thank God it's Friday programs, we go to the gym, we go to we go for excursions. There are a lot. We have programs like recognition awards. Okay, awards and recognition where you just want to encourage your employees, best employee of the month, best employee of the year. I've talked about annual gifts also, small perks, that contribute to making a positive and happy environment in the workplace. So it is important that as HR practitioners, you also bear this in mind. Now, the key important compulsory insurance, or rather compulsory benefits, remember I talked about health. It is important that health care must be covered. Okay. There are companies that do dental, although dental is not compulsory, but there are companies that offer dental care. But at least the basic health care program should be in place for your employees. We have dental plans, we have vision plans for the eyes, depending on the budget of the company and how far they are able to do it. So it's important that health is priority in ensuring that, health is priority in ensuring that the employee are able to work optimally. Now, wellness incentives. There are cases where companies and organizations could tell you that they need to take care of the physical body, the emotional personality of the individual, mental health, spiritual body, meditations, support, regardless of whatever care that the employee is. It is important that this also may be considered. Although wellness in terms of mental health, emotional well-being might not be compulsory for some organizations, but it is encouraged. It's encouraged that as an employer, also listening to on this program, you are able to create such in your organization if you have the capacity to do so. So the more holistic your health program is, covers, wellness incentive for your employees, the more your employees will enjoy job satisfaction. They have cases of therapy sessions. Okay, I mentioned that already. After certain experiences, certain maybe difficult experiences, these employees go for therapy sessions just to help them to be able to enjoy their work, having a wholesome work environment. So we have benefits at work, which in summary, I will repeat that again. We have working hours or time off, flexible working hours on time off, skills development program, food and beverage. You can also suggest gifts and activities. Okay. Now, when it comes to health benefits, you have healthcare and wellness, where you can also introduce gym activities, to make an wholesome activity for your employees. Now, there are sometimes when organizations also introduce financial security. All right, I mentioned it already. Pensions, retirement and pensions plans are very important. Having insurance cover, life insurance cover, and health insurance cover. Some organizations introduce financial growth benefits. Some organizations have contributory programs where the employees can come together, put funds together, and then have bulk access to bulk funds at a period, certain period. Some people have investment programs, offer investment program for their employees, 13th month salary for some employees, extra bonuses, and financial development programs and all that. We have also have personal financial benefits where they teach you how to maintain your financial life and have, financial growth, as time goes on in that company. Then we have lifestyle benefits. We have benefits from organization that is strictly for lifestyle, wardrobe allowances, work-life balance. I mentioned it already. Mobility and office setup in cases of remote work. That extra fund is sometimes given to certain employees to be able to set up their remote work benefits. Okay. Now, it is important to know that as regards pensions, we have the 10%, 8%, what they call it, 10%, 8% sharing ratio in Nigeria, all right, where the organization is required to make 10% of the basic transport and housing, okay? The base pay, basic transport and housing. You have the total of that. You have the organization pays 10% of it to the commission, and then 8% is deducted from the salary of the employee, the totaling 18%. So this is required with that an organization opens an account, or the employee takes the steps of opening an account to take up that particular fund. So a certain amount of money is open. A certain number account is open, and that amount, that 18% of the total salary, is sent in and paid into the account of the employee over time. And the beautiful thing about it is that we have it. I mean, Nigeria, it is flexible. So regardless of how you um regardless of whatever organization you work with, you can still present that one account where all of these funds, are paid into it, so that it is easily able to, to track. Great. Now it is important to have this understanding that compensation and benefits are critical, very, very important. I cannot overemphasize this. It is very, very important that you have, no matter how small it is, there are compensations and benefit programs in your company. So, HRs, as you're listening in, please bear in mind where this does not happen in your company, please find time to suggest such a proactive method, proactive model to ensuring that your employees are satisfied. Where these things are covered, you find out that your employees will do well and with joy. So, to be able to attract top talent and retain top talent, quality talent, compensation and benefit is important. So, creating a desirable mixture of both direct and indirect compensation options, as well as the relevant benefits in each company, depending on how your budget can cover all of these benefits or some of these benefits, will help you to attract quality top talent into the company. And not just attract them, will give you a competitive edge over your competitors, people doing your similar kind of business with you, and will also help you to meet your organizational goals. Then it helps your turnover, your staff attrition, the rate at which people leave your organization, it brings it to the barest minimum, because we have come to understand that sometimes it's not even really about the pay. So when you are speaking with certain employees, they'll tell you that they prefer, um once you share some certain amounts of them as the cost to company, the salary is attached to that position. What comes to mind is that, okay, if this amount is like this, how much, what benefits, what other benefits are we gaining? So the moment you start listing some very quality benefits for the employees, you find out that they are most satisfied and they're already happy regardless of how meager the funds can be. All right. So employee motivation and job satisfaction is also important as a benefit for, as a desirable benefit that comes with encouraging your employees to engage better. All right. So where we have this desirable compensation, this desirable benefits, this kind of program put here and put and in this within this department, within this unit, your employees are motivated, they enjoy job satisfaction. You also notice that your employees are loyal, and then they become engaged. People who will willingly automatically want to sell your company, tell the world about the business, and attract as many quality hands, stakeholders into your business, even without forcing them. People who have childcare programs, health and wellness membership programs, flexible working hours, options, you will find that discounts in whatever facility that could be offered. You find out that these employees are open to staying longer in that organization. Employees who enjoy benefits and compensation, their morale is raised, they are encouraged, their morale is maintained, they are happy to come to work, they are not sad on Monday, they are not excited on Friday to leave and sad on Monday to resume. They are always encouraged. There's more ups time than downtimes, emotionally, mentally, physically, and all that. Your employees also achieve internal and external pay equity. They feel that they belong to the company. They feel that the company, they own it. Okay. And when I mean own it, I'm not saying chasing the employer, away from the business. I'm saying that they feel that they're a part of something good. Where your employees feel that they're part of something that is growing and developing, they will also put in their effort, put in their strength in making it happen. They enjoy, high rewarding, their performance is improved. They become, high performing employees. They leverage union negotiations, meaning they're happy to do things to improve. Their loyalty is improved by the day. So once you place such heavy quality compensations and benefits, no matter how small, at least there's somewhere you will start, and then you now begin to expand and enlarge your programs. You'll find out that you get the best out of your employees. Okay. So please bear this in mind as the As the HR practitioner, bear this in mind in making sure that your organization does the right thing. In our next session, we'll be looking at what is our role as HR practitioners in designing and ensuring that we have quality compensation and benefit program.